Boom. So, hi, what's up, people of YouTube, I guess. I'm back, and as we have discussed last time, today we're going to talk about quite important thing, but I just don't know why no one talks about it. There's literally maybe like one video on YouTube about this approach that we're gonna talk about today. Let's put it this way, it's like more philosophical approach. It's called Radical Pragmatism. So this is the topic of today's video, and let's see our new B-roll. Let's go. How was the B-roll? Was it fine? What do you think? Radical pragmatism. This is a very important topic for me, and I think for a design approach for the future years, upcoming years. And I might sound too dramatic, but hear me out, okay? All my work that will be mentioned on this channel later on will be based on this approach. Will be like a key for you to understand what is behind it. To give you an idea of what that is and what I mean by that and why I'm so hyped about this approach, I will be sharing with you today. So let's go. So, radical pragmatism. Well, first of all, let's talk about it. What the hell is this? As an architect, while I'm designing, there's always kind of a thought in me that there should be like architectural value added to the work that I do, of course. And that's okay, and that's understandable, but sometimes we, as an architects, we are kind of exaggerating this need of being pretty or being, top of the notch, or finalizing all these small details that turn construction into few years, maybe for private house construction time. We try to make things that they don't need to be existing at all. What makes the new radical pragmatism approach way more different than all the rationalism, I guess that's how it's called, minimalism, brutalism, and all these isms, is that the radical pragmatism puts its usefulness and effectiveness above the stylistic choices. All right, so let's say that we are beginning to do our work like our engineer is our client, okay, and he is the one who is emphasizing that approach. And how would we solve goals or aims? Designing like an engineer is eliminating all unnecessary things. The best part is no part at all, and that's very, very, very important to understand. The best part, no part. Okay, so if something can be ditched or deleted or just cancelled in your project, that should be cancelled without any aesthetical regrets. All right, solving problems with the real world resources, with everything that you have right there at your hands, okay? That's the way to work with the radical pragmatism approach. So we are building something that is, we try to analyze whether, do we really need this, I don't know, a shadow line, or this suspended gypsum ceiling, or something that actually creates, whoa, there was a freaking bug on me. Oh shit. Nah, forget about it. All right, sorry. Okay, so we're back. So we are designing with a new approach that brings unnecessary things, takes them apart, takes them away. Okay, so if there's a or labor-intensive work that we are thinking is like what actually the project needs, try to question yourself. Do we really need it? Can we go without it? And once we're beginning to evolve and emphasize this approach, we begin to get a clearer picture. It will look fresh. It will look modern in the good way. This is how I found my work. This is the emotions that I get from seeing the result of me working at this with this approach. Okay, so let's make some few points that what makes a radical pragmatism approach what it is, and let's just go step by step. Okay, so here's number one. Analyze your resources. That is crucial. So when you begin working, try to understand what do we have in our hands. Can we use certain techniques that are not known in this area? Okay, or maybe we would like to have certain materials that are not available here. So how I would start is actually see what we have here on the local market. What are the local contractors are used to, what decisions they can build. And I'm not talking about, you know, clients' specification and requirements and the site itself. We all know that that is crucial for the architectural and design. But what also important is what is your team are capable of. And being at the low tech, not the high tech, the low tech solutions is always a good way. So that was number one. Number two is emphasize practicality. Okay, it might sound too obvious, but still. Okay, so be practical. Use the real world methods. For example, I'm not doing any shadow gaps anymore. Shadow lines are gone. They are hard to produce. They usually look awful when they're not done right. In the end of the day, they're just making a big impact on the delay, because no one actually thinks of it. But when we get to the point, it usually takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of labor. They're just not worth it. You know, we're not, yes, it looks okay. It looks maybe better than the brutal connection with the floor and the wall or the ceiling and the wall. But still, you know, I don't want to pay for this with resources like money, time, clients' money, clients' time. Is it really worth it? Are we having any cognitive distortions by any chance? If you know what that is, put a thumbs up. So that was number two. Number three, as I have mentioned before, that's engineer-centric approach. So try to think of when you're solving something like an engineer or like a structural engineer or like an expert in certain areas that you're trying to solve. The simplest solution that your engineer would suggest or would prefer to have. That doesn't mean that you have to lose that architectural alchemy, you know, that spark of architecture. Trust me, it will be there if you have it. Yeah, that's an important thing to note. But try to imagine that you are the one who is going to build it in the very end. What would be the more convenient way for you to do it? An easier way to do it. Okay, number four, contextual awareness. Yeah, contextual awareness. Well, beware of the context, I guess. So try to solve problems, like troubleshoot ideas and problems with the context. Answers, they usually come very easy when you just don't rise this level of aesthetics too high. Okay, so in my work, I'm kind of now really skeptical to the high-end quality finishing. I just think it's not worth it. You know, my architectural decisions are being put it on the paper with kind of understanding of that it may be done with a lower level with a lower skilled labor. And I'm kind of okay with that now. I'm not chasing, you know, the perfect straightness. I think that by letting it go, we are actually creating more character to the house. And I'm trying to avoid fine detailing and fine connections and things like that. The Sigma house that I have mentioned before, and we will be talking about it soon, all the recessed lights are actually put into the concrete before pouring. That makes it so way more easier and elegant and cheaper to produce, and it looks super awesome. Okay, yeah, so that was number 4, and we're moving to number 5. Number 5, collaboration and multidisciplines. Okay, so work with your team, work with the people that are actually going to produce what you have designed. Engineers, contractors, experts on site are your best friends in this case. Talk to them, ask them, you know, what do they think about it? How would it be hard for them to produce? Or maybe they know the simpler solution to do this. For example, routing electrical cables. Where is the better way to locate your junction boxes? Well, they may have some clever ideas that maybe not that obvious for you during the process of the design. Don't ignore them, talk to them and collaborate with the experts that you have around. I guess that was the last part for the radical pragmatism. I just wanted to know that be flexible, but at the same time be critical. Think without this abstract norms or dogmas that we all have in our mind. That Cybertruck, is that how it's called? Okay, we'll put a picture here of it. Okay, so that was the Elon Musk SUV. When was it? Was it, I don't know, 3-4 years ago was it presented? But the thing that no one actually talked about it, and no one actually mentioned it, but everyone was hyped about it, and there were, you know, some people loved it, some people hated it, but no one actually clearly described what the hell is going on. And the car wasn't supposed to be impressive. It just canceled this part, you know. There was no such a checkbox to check. It was designed with this radical pragmatism approach, for God's sake. And what was the result of it was its price. So by making things simpler, they made it cheaper. And this is why I believe in this approach, because the business realities, and they will, you know, they will still be maybe more influential than anything else. And by keeping costs down and being really efficient, that's the way to go. And see the Chinese car market, huge rise, and they're being pragmatic as well. They're keeping the costs down or lower than the other car manufacturers. And in a few years, okay, I'm not gonna say it, but you know, we all know that. This is it for today's video, and I'm gonna see you on the next one, and the next one is going to be huge. It may be the kind of the Sigma House representation video, or if we make the other one faster, we will make a video about my passion, my wallets. Yep, you heard it right, wallets is maybe the next upcoming video. The wallets you never seen before, of course. So see you on the next one, maybe next week. I hope to see you guys next week. See you, bye-bye.